Hey everyone, today we have Aravind with us. Aravind is a senior developer advocate at Elastic. He is a tech evangelist and a force in the fast. So today he will make Elastic App Search overview. So Aravind, up to you.
Thanks, Rishabh, and the entire team of HackOn. In short time, you have put up, I believe, a great hackathon, and also I could see other videos on LinkedIn as well as videos
Yeah,
done by Paras on community,
yeah,
and several other videos on the YouTube. So
yeah.
it's great, and thank you for this conference, and like thanks also for the opportunity to speak.
And thanks to you
Uh,
for joining us.
Yeah, great. So what I'll do is like today we'll go slow and we do have enough time. And
Okay,
surprisingly, I did the same talk today morning as well in a different
okay.
conference. And I want to do it a bit slow and like so that you could go and
Mm,
ask me more questions.
okay, cool.
Uh, so yeah, let's get started. So
Yeah.
basically, like I hope you're able to see my screen, right? Everything is in play, right, Rishabh?
Yes, everything's good.
Great, great. So specifically, like when talking about search, there are various ways that I introduce search to people, and I have given several search talks. But I've been doing this sort of talk for quite some time, and I really felt that there is a greater chance for every developer when they were thinking of developing an app, be it in React.js, Flutter, or Vue.js, whatsoever end framework or whatsoever technology that you use, you would always have this sort of a backend thought that you would feel like, okay, that I still need to develop the skill to kind of like build something like a backend heavy backend service, say like some search service. And then when you think of something like Elasticsearch, and you would also think like, how do I build a scalable search? Oh, I want to build it. I have to build stuff on EC2 or some probably say Azure VM. I need to build up all of this. So even I did that all the time, and I always assume that if there is a better way to do all of this pretty easily and create a nice experience, that would be great. So today we are going to see something of that sort, and like I put up the talk like building cloud scale search, but you can completely ignore the cloud part or the backend part. We would definitely talk more about the search part, and so that like you would take away something and you could build interesting stuff. I want you to build something amazing. So yeah, so let's get started. And all of this that I'm going to talk more importantly is as an open foundation in between. Like you could download this product and run it anywhere. I'm going to demonstrate it on a cloud service, but you could also download it. So that way it is there. So because like I said, I don't want to like think of about large distributed system that you have to build, etc. So what is search? When you ask like what's in a search or how do I get things going on a search platform, so I would definitely think of searching for anything and everything. But I've never thought that finding a cab on Uber is something related to search. So when you're trying to put a point A and point B and trying to find a cab for your ride, not specifically now because it's not Uber and in this situation and other ride sharing apps, but when you're searching for anything, especially in this case, you are literally searching for you're literally searching on a search engine, which is kind of like Elasticsearch. Similarly, when you're trying to search for your favorite dish and food, groceries, and a lot of these things, like here we are showing Yelp, something which is something similar to Zomato and Swiggy. So when you are literally again searching on the geographical data, the favorite dishes, I mean, like calculated with a lot of filters and a lot of other details. So you're searching for restaurants, you're literally doing the search engine. So you have a data file and you want to like search on top of it and show some interesting dishes, etc. And similarly, there are many use cases. Suppose, for example, you could take something very core like Samsung. Samsung uses Elasticsearch for various use cases. Similarly, so there are many use cases that we see. Like when you go to a site like Instacart, through which you could buy groceries, very essential groceries. Instacart is a big basket kind of a tool in US. Or even if you go to Cisco WebEx, and a lot of these tools basically they have Elasticsearch at the core of their experience, and they try to do the search on top of everything. So which is like kind of interesting, like which is kind of like how do I like how do I build a job search, how do I build video search, how do I search threads on a lot of data. So everything that includes even Kinder kind of a platform. So we're going to talk about this particular experience. Now, when I say this particular search, you might have really touched Elasticsearch as we speak. You might be interacting with it as well. So the Elasticsearch is the world's popular open source search engine, and you might have interacted with it in last 24 hours. So this is Elastic Stack. So Elasticsearch is a core part of it. It's a distributed NoSQL REST-based, API-based search engine. Also can be used like a data store. But you also have Kibana, which is your visualizer into Elasticsearch. It's like a window into Elasticsearch. At the same time, you have Beats and Logstash, which are data ingestion modules, so which you can pull data from various sources and push into Elasticsearch. So wherein if you're looking at a more analytics, OPSI workloads, then you could go and look at Beats and Logstash. Now, there are three specific things that we do in terms of this entire stack, which is like search, observability, and security. I mean, protecting the security, like your laptops, to your desktops, to your servers, to your internet security, and a lot of other network security, and a lot of other things actually. So now protection is a separate thing which we are not going to discuss today. Observability is also a separate thing which we are not going to discuss today, but search is something that we are discussing today. But search also forms a core foundation for all of these solutions. So there are three solutions: Elastic Enterprise Search, Observability, and Security, all on a common open source stack called Elastic Stack. Now, each of these solutions, when I say this as a solution, it's nothing but like a layer that is sitting on top of it, which gives you a lot of features. Like if I have to say, this can be run anywhere, and this is platform agnostic. You can run it on any sort of Linux with some limitations, definitely, but you can run on a lot of Linux OSs. You can run on any cloud platform. You can run on something like Kubernetes as well. We have a Kubernetes operator, which is again open source. You could go and look at it. Now there are many ways to deploy it and run it, orchestrate it as well. Now, the specific solution, even though it says enterprise search, it is not like as if only for enterprises. So it's like an overall umbrella of different products or solutions that are built on Elastic Stack. So now something like workplace search is a search wherein if you have Office 365, like say Word documents, PPTs, Google Drive, your several internal Confluence kind of a things, or your college has several data sources like say FTP servers to do a lot of these things, and your lecturers or students want to search say curriculum for that specific year or a specific semester, or say if you want to find out some regulatory or policy related information which is there in circular format like PDF format. How do you search on top of it? So workplace search is a search that helps you to do all of this. It's like a connector driven where we crawl a lot of data and like push it into Elasticsearch, and that's a completely different thing. We are not going to discuss that about. We are going to discuss more focus on app search, which I'll talk in a minute. But you also have site search, wherein if you have a general purpose search engine, so the general purpose website, say if I have aravind.dev and I have a bunch of blog posts, or if you have any sort of search, and like you just can simply give the URL of that site, and we'll crawl the site and index all the public data into Elasticsearch, and again you'll get a search bar through which you'll be able to search on top of it. Now this is another type of search which is called a site search, and you get a host of features around that as well. Now we crawl only public information that is there in robot.txt, your sitemap and everything. If you have given it's wonderful, and we can do a lot of things there. And there are a bunch of features that are from site search that are getting inbuilt into app search as well, because site search is a very popular product, which many sites that you see, suppose if you go to somewhere like help.netflix.com, Twilio, if you have heard of something called Twilio help search, there are several search bars that are powered by site search. You might not know it. So that is another thing that we are looking at. But why all these search solutions when you have Elasticsearch itself? I can just download it, build it, and what's the use of it? Now, talking about Elasticsearch is a very massive, and I think I should say this, like it has a lot of raw power. It's like a wonderful clay, and you can mold it into multiple solutions, say logging or OPSI workloads, like say metrics, trace data, ping data, network data, different types of data, multiple use cases. So Elasticsearch is very popular in that way, and you could mold it, but it's also very massive. It needs to be tuned in that format. Now, from a lot of years, when we try to build this search engine for several customers, when we take questions from community, so what we basically look at, the people always want faster search, obviously, right? Whatsoever your internet connection might be, when you type things on Google, you might literally expect the result to come in the next, say, microsecond or not even millisecond. We might want it to be very faster, right? So faster search is by default, everyone needs it. And when you're putting a search bar and it is directly attributed to your brand, it's not something that you could go away and say like, okay, I'm not slow, somebody else is slow. No, it's your experience. Now people want to build faster search. At the same time, people also want to build features like autocomplete. When you type in search as you type, suppose if I say like refrigerator, as soon as I type REFR, I should be able to see the refrigerators. At the same time, you also have features like typo correction. Suppose if I type a wrong spelling and how to correct it. Then people also want to see analytics, do some sort of a number crunching. So these are the core features for a lot of search related use cases. Say e-commerce search, say somebody who is building a help site for a platform like Netflix, or somebody who is building some platform like Cardeco, Zomato, Swiggy. It's really interesting and like more useful that way. Now that's the reason we want to build a solution, a complete experience for people who want to build a search bar within minutes, like literally within minutes. So what we'll do in this session, as I go ahead, I'll show how do you build this silver bullet experience right from scratch. So I'll quickly show a demo of app search, and we'll come back and also look at some architecture, architecture patterns, and then like we'll conclude the session. I'll also take some questions. So let us quickly do the Thanos snap and like go back and see the entire demo. So in the interest of time, what I did is like I want to spin up this. I could also build this myself, but I want to spin up this in the Elastic Cloud environment. No worries, I have a link so that you could also go and kickstart this trial. Now I do have an app search installation, which I don't want to really like show you. I mean, like I don't want to like, I want to show from a scratch experience. Now I'll just quickly name my deployment, say Google Cloud, say Mumbai. You get a lot of versions, and say 7.6.2, other versions which are, some of them are supported, some of them are not. No need to worry, just go with the latest one. Then click on app search, and when you click on app search, it selects, and then you should definitely, like, you could click on the create deployment. Now there are many other things that you could do: customize the deployment, change how much RAM, and a lot of these details. So these are the templates that we offer, and you could choose one of them. This is gonna get changed as we go, like, and it's all full complete SaaS experience, software as a service experience, so that you don't need to worry more about upgrades or the OPSI or the operations related thing. So you are literally getting a search engine as a service. Now I'll click create deployment. As I click create deployment, it starts deploying, and it will show me a username and password, and then I'll just quickly copy and I'll log into the site. So it might take a bit of time. So meanwhile, what we'll do is, like, I'll show you the features if possible. Say I got a password, I quickly copy it, and I'll show you the features in the Elastic Cloud itself meanwhile. So the deployment itself can be editable. You can click edit the deployment and change the RAM and all of these details. It will replan and rebuild. You'll also be able to look at logs, the snapshots, the API console thing. Like, you could call some APIs and see what is the result, whether the Elasticsearch or the console is properly working or not. You could take a look at the activity which is literally happening right now. See how much, what are the various instances that are getting spin up. Like, say, what are the various things that have been done with respect to Elasticsearch, and a lot of these details. If you're looking at, say, building this on your own, you would need to definitely download Elasticsearch from here. Say downloads. Then You need to download Elasticsearch from here with the respective platform, whatever you want, and and you need to download App Search, and you need to build an Elasticsearch cluster, and then run App Search on top of it. App Search runs on localhost colon 3002 by default, and Elasticsearch runs on localhost hyphen localhost colon 9200. So while it gets spin up, I'll also find out some other details related to how are the security and various other things happen. Now I did copy the password here. I did copy, but generally it is not visible for the second time. That means like I need to definitely take a look and copy it as soon as possible. I can't say that, okay, I don't want to really build it now and I want to take some time. No, I should really copy it at that point of time, and I should use that. So if I forget or if you forget copying the password, you could always click on the reset password and reset the entire thing. You could also create Elasticsearch key store. Suppose if you are doing protection and you want to protect keys and several other things, you should definitely take a look at the key store service as well. But for now, we are going with the basic username password, and like you could get started with that. Now, there are several other things that are in play as well, like say metrics. How is your deployment? How is the CPU usage? Number of requests. Like there are detailed information about how do you use this particular metrics as well when you go over and build a search experience on a website. I hope it should come in a minute. Yeah, it has come. Let me click launch. So usually I kind of like create a parallel deployment and try to put it that point of time, but this time I want to show you a complete experience. So I'm just logging into the service. So this is the same password that we copied previously. As soon as it logs in, you will see an onboarding experience. Now say this is like your getting started experience. Now I have a data set of Bollywood movies, and for like say some 40 years or something, I'll just ingest that data and we can create a search experience on top of it. So my search engine name is movies, right? I want to create a movies. You can also select specific language for that. Unfortunately, there isn't much of like our Indian languages, but I believe a lot of these features are really coming really soon. So you could click on the engine name and like click on continue, and you can also create multiple search engines. Say you have a movie search engine, you have some other search engine, say like say restaurants or say e-commerce products. Each search engine can be individual. And all you need to look at is like increasing your Elasticsearch configuration in the previous console that we spoke. But generally, it is so easy to get started this way. You could also search on, you create multiple engines and search on multiple engines. Like say search on multiple engines as a one engine. This is called meta engines. I'll see if we could get time to talk about that as well. So you could also use it. So coming to the data ingestion part. Now I said like we are ingesting movies. Now if you want to ingest say documents into you should definitely ingest the data into the search engine, right? If you want to ingest some documents, you could paste the JSON or upload a JSON, or also you can use the API version. Like you can use something like curl or postman or what you call insome. There are several other clients actually now, right? So you could simply use the client to push the data, or you could use one of our clients like Node.js clients to push the data into things. I'll talk about more about clients as well a bit in a bit of time. Now, there is a data which is already filled in. These are two documents. This is nothing like any other JSON document. So what I'll do is like I'll quickly copy the data that I have, which is like your Bollywood movies, and then I'll quickly get back to you. I'm just copying the data. I have downloaded data from one of the GitHub repo, so that like it's appropriate with the Wikipedia data. So let me see if I can copy this, because sometimes the limit of the data that this particular text box can ingest is around 100 KB. Like as you can see, 102400 bytes. But you can also like ingest more data from the like API other point of view. So this is a text box, so it might take some time. So copy it extra, please. So I'll quickly click on continue. So this indexes the documents into the search engine. Like I added 33 documents and 18 fields into the ingest schema. Now it says visit dashboard. Quickly click the visit dashboard. I can say yes, and then I'll also click on the. I can before clicking on the movies, you could see that there are several other credentials, etc., etc. Like you will have a API key. It operates on an API key basis. Like you'll also have a public search key because you want to restrict who can access what and who can write into the search engine and who can read. All the clients can perhaps read but not write, right? So only specific clients that you decide whom to write, they will write into the specific search engines. Now you have engines, and then I could quickly go into the movies part. Now you see there are two queries, 33 documents, as we see, 0 clicks. Now what is this information? Before getting into that, I'll quickly show the documents, and then you will be able to see what did I ingest. Okay, I've never expected that student of the year will come. So, but this is the document that we are seeing here, wherein there is a title, there's an IMDb ID, poster path. Just understand the this format that you have through which you'll be able to do. There's a lot of text here, actors. You will also split the actors into multiple formats like lead actor, hero, heroine. That's up to you. You can do that. Just I copy pasted the thing. You also have an ID. So these are the documents that you have. This is not like just to take a look at the documents. And then you also have something called query tester. Before you roll this out like a search experience to somebody else, before you build moviesearch.com, something like that, you definitely want this to be searchable, or this to be like appropriate. Let's say if I want to search for a movie called URIUB, and then you should be able to see how relevant the data is being how the data is being shown. Suppose if I have a movie which is like crime thriller based, if I have to search for it and it shows that specific related genre movies. So this is a query tester through which you will also be able to see the score part. So we'll come to the score part later, and the analytics and other part. Now we'll quickly go to the schema. So any document will have schema. Any database generally we will see schema, right? Like generally in RDBMS systems we will have something like create table name, like text is varchar, lot of different data types. Just like that, you also have different types of data points here. When you click and update some specific data to a different type and click on update types, it automatically updates the type and reindexes it. So that is one other benefit that you have. Now there are some specific search features which are also there in Elasticsearch, but just imagine how easy it is to get set up and start all of this so easily. Now I've tested URL. So let me go and show you a real test wherein if I want to test, say, Aravind, I hope there is no name saying Aravind, or say Aravind 1, or say if there is something called Rocky Mountain. So if you have something like Rocky Mountain, and then it shows a specific result, and then if you give the same Rocky Mountain to say Rocky Mountain is showing some specific results, and Uri is showing a specific result. Now, if I want to say that, or we can go another way for easier purpose. So if you have student of the year is also called SOTY2, right, in general. So if you want to if you want to really name that student of the year to the SOTY, so I'll create a synonym. So synonym is something like you have a acronym and people call it differently, or you have a name and people call it differently in the field or in the real world, and you want to create equivalent terms for it, something which is similar. So we just create that. So let me go and quickly try to point out the student of the year here. So quickly click on the student of the year, okay, and it has SOTY2, and then this is like a synonym that you can create 2 or 3 synonyms for each each term that you have. So if somebody says, okay, I'm sorry, I think, yeah, I can type SOTY and you would still get student of the year. Say let us say SOTY2. You should be able to get, in a minute, you should be able to get all of this, the search results, and you should be able to see the details. So previously when we are trying to do this particular thing, you are seeing a different result, right? Now you are seeing the student of the year result. So that is a key thing here. Synonyms are very important when you're building the search engine and you want to find out when people search for something similar and that is not there on the search engine. Search is not returning the result, but you really have the document. So how do you do that? You can create a synonym for it. Similarly, you also have something like promoted documents. Now, say if I have a specific genre of movies that I want to promote and organize or give more importance to, say, if I have, say, action, and if I search for action genre movies, I get a bunch of action movies. And if I want to give, say, more priority to a specific genre of movie, so I can click promote it. So I can make it promoted so that people can kind of like look into that specific stuff. So this is like, you can save this, and whenever you search for the specific action query, so you would get Uri as a first, like, as a first subject, as a result set. So this is another way to look at things actually. So I have created this curation. You can test it like again using the query tester. Now, in the interest of time, I'll go and show some more features like relevance tuning. Now, what relevance tuning specifically does is, you have a ton of data and you want to tune the data to a specific title. Say you always search on the genre of the movie, or probably you always just search on the title of the movie. You will always search on the hero, based on the hero or heroine of the movie. But you would probably never search more often on the year base, right? You will not search for 2019. You have a specific year. So you can search, it will still find out some information, but you want more preference to be given to title. So how do you do that weightage? So here you have that specific thing as well. It's called relevance tuning. Elasticsearch has the same thing, but here we are trying to do it more and more interestingly. So if I have a movie, say it's a movie, let's say Prime, and you would get some specific movie set, and you want to give more importance to the title than the biography or summary or year, I'll give more importance, and then those details, the title and the result set will keep varying. I can save, and I'll also click on restore default so that it can go back and things will be equal. But generally, people give more weightage to, suppose, say if you're a restaurant search, and then you will give more things to priority to the dish name and restaurant name and a lot of other details. So that is one another thing to look at. So these are another things. You could also show in this results, say refine the results and say which is important, which is not important, like which one to be removed, which one gives you more query performance, and a lot of these details. Say if you want to remove a specific field like story, and if you want to remove say like number of nominations, years, the query performance gets better. Now it's not, because it's showing all the 18 fields, which might also contain a lot of text. Now we can reduce it, and then like you can also limit it to the number of data that you want to push, and do a lot of these details. So that in the client, whenever you're showing limited amount of data in the first go, and then when people click on that link, you always have that endpoint to call and display the complete movie and the details as well. So that is what we are trying to look at here. Now I'll click on clear values because we don't want to change anything here at the same point of time. I'll click on the final one, wherein this is the most important one, where several people like. Now from the first, I'm talking about the complete experience, like looking at the entire search as a solution, not just like building a specific system and then like accessing like the endpoints, etc. But you are also looking at the complete experience. So we have something called reference UI. What reference UI does is like it creates you that search bar experience here. So again, this is an open source project. It's a UI based project. It's nothing but a wrapper around the Create React UI app. If you're into the React Native community, you know that there's a famous Hello World app, right, in the GitHub. So this is an extra layer on top of it. Now I'll show how it really looks like, and then what are the various things that you can do. Now you could see on your right side, you could see that there are things that are getting highlighted as you look at. So I'll click on, say, original title, and then I'll click on the filter field. Say what are the various filters, say genre, say IMDb, say rating, which is a filter. Say if I want to check several other details like that, year of release, like I want to pick that filter based on that. And the sort fields, if you want to sort on a specific date, like say number of nominations. So yeah, we can keep one sort field. Then you also have poster path. You can click on poster path. This is a path that gets like when you click on it, it can show. You can also link it to a detailed page so that people can go and look into the detailed page. Now when you click on the generate preview, you could literally like say, okay, there's some details that are not saved, but I'll simply click on the poster part. So you will see that this is mentioned, and you get this complete experience, right? You're getting a reference UI app. So you could simply download this package and do npm start. You will get this app, the complete search bar based app. So, and you can start putting your own CSS, your own style that you want to do, and all that you need is like upload the data and tune whatever you want in the search console, and then keep changing it so that you only need to add your CSS. So how simple it is? It is very easy. So it is already baked in all the APIs, all the credentials to the search engine. Everything is baked in. So if I search for something like say SOPY2, and if I click on enter and I'll get the result, I can also click on and show you that the poster that is being displayed. Now, at the same point of time, you will get many other features like say autocomplete and several other things. You will also be able to see the sort, how many nominations it has won, various movies that have won more and less nominations, genre, and rating on IMDb. There are year of release. Let me click on the highest rating one. So there are many sites, right? There are many things. So it's pretty interesting that all of this can be built, and I could take a step ahead and download it and do more stuff. Now, in the interest of time, I'll come back and then we'll go and look into some more details about what we have searched, how we have looked at it. So I'll also do a search for something that is not available, and we'll see what happens. We'll see if it comes. Say if I am searching for something like say groceries, it is showing a lot of other details. So if I search for something that is not available and or it is not showing any results, then I could go back to the configuration, and I could also look at analytics part of it, like what people are searching. Now, when we started, we have less queries, like 2 or 3 queries, I think, and it also shows queries with no results, total number of clicks whenever I clicked on a specific part. But you can see that when I clicked on SOTY, it shows like the number of clicks that I have made and like what are the various things. It also shows top queries with no clicks. Say if I have done Rocky Mountain, there's no details, so it's saying that that one is not there. So this helps sometimes when people pronounce a specific word in a different manner, and you, despite having the dish or a restaurant or that item in your search engine, you'll not be able to see that. So you can tune that result experience here. And this data is like, you can tune the data to different samples and results as well. Now, I have a lot of data here. I also have the API logs, what people are doing, what sort of APIs are being called, analytics on a lot of the details. If you are not really interested, and like you could also download this and then like take it to something like Kibana and do further analysis. By the way, all of this is like anyway stored in Elasticsearch. You can also directly connect your Elasticsearch to your Kibana and then like build a dashboard on top of it. That's very easy. You can do data analytics on the search results, search information that is being there. So that's about the app search part and more interesting part. So you could create more and more engines, create users and roles and a lot of these details. Now I'll quickly go back and show you some more, give you more information, and then like we'll take some questions forward. So basically, whenever people are looking at app search or Elasticsearch based experience, you're literally talking from your application to an Elasticsearch REST endpoint. And there you have a user, and there's an application, and then there's an Elasticsearch cluster. Now, in a lot of cases, what happens is like people generally do all of this business logic or synonyms, etc., in their application part. But with app search, what happens is it's just an additional layer, but offers all of this by default and encapsulate or abstracts it away, abstracts the complexity in the Elasticsearch. Well, Elasticsearch has a lot of raw power, but you want a search-related solution, right? So app search would give you all of that very easily. And it's also scalable because it's in cloud, and like you could simply spin out and do more and more stuff. Now, coming to the last part, I have this trial. So if you are looking at asking more questions, we have a Slack channel. Please join it, and we could help you with that. If you have any questions on app search, then you also have a search related resources that I have put up. You could go and like kind of look into the search part. then you want to get started with the cloud, you can go and click on community trial, and it gives you, I believe, 30 days of trial for this entire use cases, and like you can get started with that. Now, if you have more questions, I'm happy to take at this point of time. I'll leave here, but Vishal, if you have any questions like on the platform, we can definitely take. Any questions? Okay, I don't see any questions. Okay, great. So if you have any specific questions, I'm on the Discord channel as well, and then you could go and look at that. But other than that, thank you for listening to the talk, and thanks everyone, and thanks to Shub and HackOn team for organizing this. I believe that I covered a bit of stuff today, so that you can go forward and take a lot of these learnings. Great.
Thank you, Aravind.
Thank you.
Aravind will be available on our Discord channel. You can ask him question at hashtag Ask Elastic. I will share the link and details in the comment section. You can all check it out.
There is one question, Rishabh, if you will let me, I'll just take that question.
Okay.
It says like, can we use an API except a JSON file? Obviously, like I said, you have an API here. You could always use that. Say, let me click on this thing. In the document section, you have index documents bar. You click, and you could also indexing by API. So you could click on the documents API, and you could simply like use the API to talk to the data and do stuff. So indexing via the API is also a preferred thing. Searching via API is also preferred. Yeah. Great. All good. And thanks, Vishab. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Yeah, I have mentioned the Discord link, so they can join Discord and Ask Elastic.
Great. So I'll be on Discord, and I'm happy to like join the Ask Elastic, and like I'll answer.
Thank you, Aravind, for like sponsoring the event and helping us out. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.